Yo, Shanghai Diamond League. I had to talk about this. So I'm in BK. I know someone came at me the other day with like, no more Brooklyn Sundays or whatever. I literally just ran the Brooklyn Half Marathon. Shout out to everyone who ran. I saw some people out here, but listen, Shanghai Diamond League was crazy. I didn't get to watch all the races yet. I watched the women's 200, the men's 110s, the women's 100 hurdles, and I saw the men's long jump, at least Matir Forlani's jump. But listen, Shericka Jackson, 22:07. Come on, man. Now, I may go live later on tonight because I'm busy throughout the day, but I am impressed with Shericka Jackson. I'm arguably even more impressed with Shaunae Miller-Weibo, but we'll talk about that in a second. Shericka Jackson, 22.07 seconds. This is her fastest 200 opener. Obviously, she's run a couple races this year, but it's her fastest 200 opener since 2022. So, and this is obviously on the cusp of breaking the 22-second barrier and getting back into the realm of, I guess, the Shericka that we know. Now, this isn't, 21. We're not talking about 21.4s yet, but very, very impressive. The way that she ran that curve, she attacked that curve so impressive around that curve. Ran right by Shaunae Miller-Weibo, held her own down that home straight, even as Shaunae maybe, took a tick or so off in terms of a meter coming, trying to run her down. But Shericka looked very, very good. And I guess this kind of bounces off of what she did at the the World Relays, right? Where she ran a strong leadoff leg. Hard to gauge off of, a leadoff leg, 100 meters, whatever. But she looked much better on that leg compared to the 400s and the 300 that she ran earlier in the year. And I'll take the hit because I definitely have been questioning, like, okay, I'm watching Gabby Thomas run. I'm watching, all these other women run, and they're running relatively fast. I was like, Shericka isn't looking like the athlete that we know in the past. But shout out to Coach's Desk. He kind of, grounded me a little bit in the sense that, listen, she's coming back from injury over the past few years. She's starting off a little bit slower to, dip into some of the, build up that base with the longer distances and then drop down slowly. And now this is kind of a culmination of getting back into some good form and executing a really, really good race. Again, 22.07 seconds is very, very impressive. Very impressive. In the post-race interview I saw, she was speaking about how she explained her injuries from 2024. She said that she had 2 hamstring injuries and a quad injury. I think that we saw at the Hungary Continental Tour in 2024, prior to the Olympics. We saw that she got injured. We couldn't tell what it was, but clearly she got injured. And this just gives a clear indication of the setbacks that she was dealing with. I'm still a little frustrated. I know people might be come at me for it, but I'm still a little frustrated that before the Olympics, Stephen Francis, I know her coach is Paul Francis, but him saying that, she was 100% healthy and, ready to go. That was a little frustrating just because of the context around what we had seen and what we know about Shericka at that point. But her giving that context and then saying that she tried to rush back to things in 2025 and not take it as easy as she probably should have, that at least provides some more just like overall grounding around her comeback from 2024 and the setbacks and the injuries and all that. I guess we still don't know what injury she faced in the final at the World Championships last year. So that's still a question, but shout out to Shericka Jackson. I'm very, very impressed. But again, I'm probably even more impressed with Shaunae Miller-Weibo. Second place in 22.2 seconds. Very, very impressive for her there. She is getting back into some excellent form. This is her fastest time since 2021. I think she had run 22.07 that year. Yeah, I think she had 22.0 something that year in 2021, the Olympic year. So she is getting right back into form. And I think a lot of us probably said that the 200 might be a tougher sell for her in terms of trying to be competitive with the rest of the world, considering how tough the 200 has gotten. But Shaunae running 22.2 and beating out a field like this, yes, I know it's early. I know it's, it's still early, so it's nothing to write home about. But this is special. Coming back after 2 children, shout out to Shaunae Miller-Weibo. Behind that, you had a Navia Battle, you had Shakira Richardson, nothing too crazy, and then the rest of the field. But yeah, again, I'll probably go live tonight for a little bit. After that, shout out to the men's 100. Gif Violela was able to get the win in 9.97 seconds. I think Fernando Moyala was second and Kenny B was third. Those are the 3 guys who went under the 10-second barrier. So Gif, he false started in, I think it was Kenya or Botswana, but now he's back on in the mix, and a really strong performance from him. He, of course, made the final at the World Champs last year in the 100. So looking to see how he continues to progress, especially as he probably targets the Commonwealth Games. Shout out to GIF. Shout out to GIF. And all the other guys, man. I guess I was a little disappointed because Christian Coleman didn't look that great. Finished kind of down the pack in 7th place. It was a little tough because I'm looking to see Christian kind of make again, to get into the conversation in a sense, but I'm very, very impressed by GIF. This was a great, great performance for GIF, and just adds to the conversation and the idea that, like, Southern African sprinters continue to make waves, you know, in the sprint events across the board, and someone who isn't necessarily like a mainstay, you know, in the sprints. He's kind of like been a newer talent, even though, you know, he's had some experience over the years. He's kind of a newer talent. He's entering into the conversation. Even someone like Fernando Manyala, he's always been in this conversation despite not getting medals. But GIF is kind of like showing, hey, I'm here. I'm here to stay. I'm here to really kind of shake things up. And if someone is slipping, listen, I'm going to be right there. So shout out to GIF. Women's 100-meter hurdles, Masai Russell, 12.25. 12.25. We can argue that we might have seen this coming because she had run 12.40 a couple weeks back, I think it was at Kentucky. So the signs of this were coming, but to run 12.25 at this point in the year is very impressive. Masai is the only person in history to have run 12.1 on 2 different occasions. She ran 12.17 at the Miami Grand Slam track meet last year, and then also 12.19, I think, at the, at the Poland Diamond League last year. But 12.25, this, again, just kind of proves that even though, so Masai got the Olympic gold medal in 2024, she missed the podium last year, but she was by far the most consistent athlete. Well, in terms of times, right? It was a little mixed on the circuit. She has been doing she was the most consistent, as I kind of think about it. But all of this to say that, like, Masai is no fluke when it comes to being able to put down a very strong time and being able to actually win that gold medal at the Olympic Games. I think many people might have seen that as a flash in the pan because the only 2 races she ran in 2020, or she won in 2024, were the Olympic trials and the Olympic Games, but she didn't do well on the circuit. Last year, she did very well on the circuit, but then she didn't do as well. Well, she didn't win a medal at the World Champs, right? So there's like ups and downs in certain aspects, but you cannot deny her ability and you cannot deny her talent. Like, she's quickly becoming one of the most consistent athletes in the 100-meter hurdles when talking about the times on the clock, for sure. So crazy. And then Akira Nugent, I think, was second. You had Toby Amasan was third. I got a cross check, but yeah, really, really strong 100-meter hurdle field. Also in the women's 400, Nikisha Price, 49.7, and then also Aaliyah Butler ran 49.7. Now Nikisha Price has been another one who I think many of us have looked at. Like, you're on the cusp, you have the talent, but you haven't been able to display it at the major championships yet, right? Paris Olympic Games, she wasn't able to make it into the final despite running 48 seconds twice that year. Last year, she made it into the final, but didn't do as well. I think she was in lane 1 at the World Champs. So, you know, ups and downs across the board, but it's really great to see her run this 49.7 to start off the year. I actually didn't see the race yet, but I did see that Aaliyah Butler was, 0.03 of a second just behind her, so it was a close race. That's also very, very impressive. So both of them are young, both of them are rising, both of them are back-to-back NCAA champions, right? Nikisha Price from 2024, Aaliyah Butler in 2025. So that's going to be maybe a budding rivalry in, you know, if you want to add the Jamaica versus USA situation kind of going forward. So really big shout out to them. Men's 100 hurdles, we saw Jamal Britt get the win over Cordell Tinch. Jamal Britt equaling his personal best with 13.07. Mattia Furlani in the long jump, man. What did he jump? 8.43? Like, and the mark was perfect. He literally had 1 centimeter between his foot and the board. Like 1 centimeter. Shout out to Mattia Furlani. He is quickly becoming one of the most, one of the most consistent, because considering he has the gold medals at the World Champs, the World Indoor Champs and all that, but he is still insanely young and he is really just developing. Like, we still need to see, for example, like Mutatis Tentacle, he's jumped, 8.65 meters, I think. So we're still in a realm where Mattia needs to get up in terms of those marks to really be considered of like, okay, you are the one who's holding down this generation. I think Mutatis Tentacle still is the guy from this generation, even if he's taken a setback due to setbacks and injuries and things like that. But Furlani is coming, man. He is coming. coming. This was a big performance for Mattia Furlani in that men's long jump. Monet Nichols, shout out to Monet, got the gold medal. Gold medal. So she got the win in the women's long jump, jumping, 6.8 meters. Really strong performance for her actually as well. So shout out to Monet Nichols. What else am I thinking about? Alison Dos Santos got the win over Karsten Warholm in the 300-meter hurdles. Am I missing something? I don't know. Again, I'm gonna probably go live. I have like stuff to do today. Obviously I gotta chill. Again, I just ran a freaking half marathon. What else? And then, yeah, so I'm gonna probably go live a little bit later today to just like watch the races and then break down, what I saw and what this means going into Shanghai next week, because that's gonna be another meet where a lot of these athletes are going to be doubling back. The men's 100, the women's 200. I think we'll see the hurdlers once again. So we'll see. But let me know what you think. All initial reactions. Don't come at me. Shout out to Shericka. Shout out to Shaunae Miller. Amazing races across the board, y'all.